But you are uniquely qualified to get this answer because one of us can call the president of the United States right now and ask him. And the other one is me.
Tucker Carlson is perhaps one of the most important commentators in media. Is he? Who is the Don of independent media spaces? Is it Joe Rogan? Is it Tucker Carlson? Is it... I don't know who else it really could be. Is it Theo Von? Like, who is it? Ultimately, when it comes to making your way through the new media spaces, you have to spot coordinates and work out where you stand in relation to them. Can we trust this MAGA Maha coalition, or do we inherit the same global and imperial powers that preceded even in the new clothes of the Trump era? Tucker Carlson is talking to Chris Cuomo here about the JFK files and about the nature of the deep state. Deep state, by very definition, means that there are sets of powers that retain control regardless of who's officially in the White House or who ultimately wins elections. You still get the deep state. I really enjoyed that conversation between Ian Carroll and Joe Rogan, where he said that the conspiracy theory that will remain clandestine is the Jeffrey Epstein files because it leads us to the true root of power, which by his diagnosis is Israel. Let me in the, or at least Israel-related interests, let me know in the comments and chat what you think about that. Here, though, let's address not only the Ukraine-Russia war, not just the conflict and controversy in the Middle East, but the deep state's defining conspiracy theory, the JFK files. Here, Tucker Carlson talks to Chris Cuomo about whether or not they'll ever be revealed, and one Democrat senator who has consistently resisted their release. Perhaps we can use this to chart a course through the new waters of power.
From whatever group has been able to keep these files secret for 62 years. So my question to you is, like, what is that? Why have these been secret for so long?
Look, you know, the idea of the deep state to me is a convenience more than it is a reality. It's a boogeyman. Why don't they put it out? Because institutions protect themselves, Tucker, as we both know.
Really?
And there is clearly information in those files that are going to make the CIA look bad.
Just the CIA?
Well, whatever. Different agencies.
No, not whatever. I mean,
I don't know because I haven't seen it.
Well, so here's,
but it could be the FBI, it could be the CIA.
Okay, so I've always thought that. And then in January, you know, there was a scramble over who's going to get what jobs in the new administration. And at one point, there was someone who was being discussed for a job in the intel world, and a member of the SSCI, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, Senate Intel Committee, went to the people making the decision and said, you cannot hire this person because this person will be certain to push for the release of the JFK files. So this is in 2025, less than 2 months ago, and you have a sitting member of the United States Senate whose main goal is to keep those files secret. And then you have to ask yourself, what is that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Why?
In this conversation with Chris Cuomo, Tucker Carlson says that Tom Cotton, Democrat, senator or congressman, has been actively resisting the release of the JFK file, something which Tom Cotton actually refutes. This is false. I have no problem releasing the JFK files. Had Tucker Carlson asked me, I would have told him. He's texted me multiple times in recent weeks, so he knows how to reach me. It's interesting, isn't it? Because when you actually love someone like I do, Tucker Carlson, you just tend towards their side on loyalty, let alone when you're dealing with complex issues of national identity or racial identity, like the various conflicts in the world at the moment, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine. No wonder people can't chart a course through it. Let's look at this conversation between Tucker Carlson and Chris Cuomo and see what we learn about that kind of fealty, loyalty, and what the JFK files would tell us were they fully released. Let me know in the comments and chat whether you agree with Ian Carroll that the conspiracy theory that has to be protected at all costs is the Jeffrey Epstein Mossad one, or whether you think it goes deeper. It does go deeper than that. This is where I'm willing to venture into the supernatural and the paranormal, in so much as I believe that there is evil organized power and it goes beyond human power. That's where I suppose I have to tap into either the religious or the more occultist or certainly more esoteric edges of even online spaces. Let's have a look at this conversation.
Yeah.
Why?
And where's your boy Kash Patel? I mean, he went in there to supposedly bust all this up.
I can't answer that.
He put out this weird tweet, you know, that was very general, like, you know, things are going to change and we're going to do this and da-da. After we learned that someone under his control now, right, because he's the head of the FBI, in that office that's under him, why wasn't he there? Why didn't he go there and say, give me the files, give them to me?
Weren't you just saying the deep state's not real?
I don't know. I don't believe in the deep state as a boogeyman.
What's going on?
But look, they're his guys. I'm just saying, why didn't he go there and say, give me the files?
So let's just use logic. I can't answer that question. I think it's a great question. But let's just use logic for 1 second. Clearly, if you watch this, in my case, for the same as you, 35 years, watching this stuff carefully, and somebody, gets in office, I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing. And then like 5 days later, they're like, well, actually, someone has called that person to say, there's something you didn't know. Here are the consequences of doing that. Someone has applied very serious pressure on this person. Pressure so serious that that person is willing to humiliate himself.
I reckon the reason people like Tucker Carlson is because of moments like that where he reasons his way through what might have happened. None of us have direct and undiluted access to truth in so much as all of us have our own biases. But I would say the new media climate and template requires that kind of personability. And some people do it very naturally and beautifully like Tucker Carlson, and probably everybody is trying to emulate or find their own version of this is my authentic take on these events. Because now that centralized media, the kind of media that I used to work for, that Tucker used to work for, that Cuomo used to work for, has lost its credibility. People are now just going to go to voices that they trust in that space. It's difficult to think that Kash Patel might be a human being, or FBI agents and workers are just human beings. And I personally believe, of course, that there is organized evil power exerted through human institutions. So that's where I depart from purely rational analysis. But I reckon it's easier and probably more sensible to reach people on the level of that which can be measured. Well, for obvious reasons, if you can't corroborate it, it just sounds like crazy ranting. Little late now, huh? Are you a yo-yo dieter? You lose weight, you gain the weight back again, you hate yourself, you be sick, you're standing in front of the mirror, you're crying, you're screaming the names of the Lord into a broken mirror. That's got to stop. It's time for you to try lean instead of that weird serial killer thing you were doing just before. It's dangerous to be a yo-yo dieter. Studies show that you can increase the risk of heart attack, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and other health problems. Breaking free of your yo-yo diet pattern is the main reason doctors created lean. Lean is a supplement, not an injection, and you don't need a prescription. It's not like that crazy thing, Ozempic or whatever it's called. The science behind lean is impressive. It's studied natural ingredients target weight loss in 3 powerful ways. Powerful way 1 helps maintain healthy blood sugar. Powerful way 2 helps control appetite and cravings. Powerful way 3, it helps burn fat by converting it into energy. That's 3 powerful ways. Listen, if you're tired of losing weight, then just gaining that weight back again, if you want to lose meaningful weight at a healthy pace, Lean was created for you. Let me get you started by offering you 20% off when you offer brand20 at takelean.com. That's code brand20 at takelean.com. Thank you.
Humiliate himself.
So wait a minute. Here's the part I don't
So who's
understand.
that person exerting the pressure?
But you are uniquely qualified to get this answer because one of us can call the president of the United States right now and ask him. And the other one is me. So why don't you know?
That's a great question. And
it's the only kind I ask.
I'm the great question asker of all time. I've been asking great questions forever. Maybe not during the pandemic.
At a member of the Senate.
He said sorry for that. You can't keep banging on. It's all right.
At a member of the Senate Intel Committee, I'm not guessing, called over and said, you cannot appoint this person.
So why don't you expose that person, first of all, so we can start chasing
Tom
after
Cotton
him or her?
of Arkansas did that.
Tom Cotton?
Yes, correct.
And did you ask him?
I haven't. No, I haven't asked him.
What the hell's going on with you?
I'd like to. And
kind of makes people suspicious of you, by the way.
Because
if you know that Tom Cotton said you can't pick this person
that
because
is correct,
and then you didn't go to him and find out why.
Well, I need to sit down with him. I'm not sure that he'll do an interview with me.
So when assessing the deep state and its power, what information we have access to and what information we don't have access to, we have to look at several factors simultaneously. As Tucker advocates for, rationally and logically, what could be happening? Why are those files not being released? Oh, someone has got some new information. But then we have to look, I suppose, too, at the bigger picture. And for me, the bigger picture is this. There are dark powers behind human powers that use human power to facilitate their ends. I recognize that in saying that, I make myself sound like a crackpot, and many people would say that's a pot that cracked a long, long time ago. But ultimately, what are the aims and interests of these elites? Why do they work so hard to control information, to control resources, to control media, to shut down opponents? What is it ultimately that drives them? Surely it can't just be the unconscious pursuit of pleasure or money. Surely there has to be some dark force at work. I believe that only a religious and spiritual life help you to navigate these complex questions. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat? Remember, we stream 4 days a week on Rumble, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If you get Rumble Premium, you get access to different content. Join us Mondays to Thursdays on Rumble. Of course, we can't bring you this content without the support of our partners. Here's a message from one now.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.